How's it going, OFPs? And welcome to another episode of the Off Field Players Podcast, the only podcast for aspiring sports industry professionals. I'm your host, Philip Hall, and I hope everybody's having an awesome week or weekend by the time you're listening to this. And yeah, another week and another episode. And I just want to remind everybody to make sure to go tune into the previous episode that I did a couple weeks back where we interviewed Kaylee Bryant for our free agent series. She actually just recently graduated from the University of Nevada, Reno with her degree in journalism, looking to go for a career as a sports reporter. So definitely congratulations to Kaylee Bryant on her accomplishment, and definitely make sure to go watch that interview that I did with her last couple weeks ago. And also want to give a quick shout out, a personal one, to my girlfriend, Sophia Paradis. She just recently graduated with her master's degree in education from St. John's University, my alma mater. So congratulations, babe. I love you. And yeah, just a huge overall shout out to all the graduates getting their degrees and matriculating from either high school to college or college into their career. It's a huge accomplishment that should be celebrated. And definitely a huge shout out to all the OFPs that are graduating from college about to begin their careers in the sports industry. But with that being said, I want to hop right into our episode tonight, where I have a very special guest on, an old friend of mine that I used to work with, and he's now making waves in his new role as the director of ticket sales down in Naples, Florida, where he's helping build the foundation for a new USL League One team set to begin play next year in 2025. And for those that have been following soccer in the United States, of course, we have the MLS being the top flight of professional soccer here in the United States, but we also have the USL Championship, USL League One, USL League Two, the Women's USL League, and USL Super League that are all making their grounds with upstart teams in major cities all across the country. But my guest tonight is the head of a new upstart team, pretty much building a whole professional soccer team from scratch. But we're going to get into it tonight. And before I go any further, I want to remind everybody to make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you're tuned into the video version on YouTube. If you're listening to the audio version, either on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podchaser, or Radio Public, make sure to give 5 stars on this episode. Follow the podcast, as well as share the link with anybody that you know that's trying to work in sports or trying to find any influence or motivation for their career path. With that being said, I want to introduce my guest tonight. He's been making waves, folks. The director of ticket sales for upstart USL Naples, a new, fresh, brand new professional soccer team that's about to begin play in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, OFPs, allow me to introduce to the Off Field Players Podcast, Mr. Chris Johnson. How are you, Chris?
Yo, what's going on, man? Hey, man, thank you for having me, man. I've been watching, your podcast and, man, the last couple of episodes, and it's flat out amazing, man. You're doing an absolutely, great job. So thank you for the invitation. I'm excited to be on and, talk about USL Naples. And yeah, man, 10 months away, March 2025, it is going down in Naples, Florida.
Yeah, and we're all excited about it, especially with the way that soccer is growing in the United States. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to just as far as the sports. I mean, the MLS is coming up big time with big stars coming in, new cities getting expansion teams, viewership going through the roof, ticket sales going through the roof. And of course, it's all leading up in the next 2 years with the FIFA World Cup taking place in the United States and
Coming to
other
the
parts of North
U.S.
America.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. It's coming to the United States in 2026, man. I am super excited. The USL, man, is one of the, the largest growing soccer leagues in North America right now. We're going to have about, I believe, 5 to 8 expansion teams right now that's coming on in 2025. So it couldn't be more an exciting time, for the USL and, specifically USL Naples. I'm super pumped. I cannot wait.
Yeah, well, Chris, we're going to get all into it tonight. Again, I'm sure you have a lot to share about your new role as director of ticket sales for USL Naples. But, before I go any further, it would be great for the OFPs to learn a little bit more about Chris Johnson before he became director of ticket sales for USL Naples. Like, talk about your upbringing, where you're from, your background, like how did you get into sports? Like, just share a little bit with the OFPs that are tuned in tonight.
Yeah, man. So, I'm originally from Chicago, man. Basketball, has been a part of my life since I was young. It has been, everything I could have asked for in a sport. and loving a sport. All right. When I picked up the ball in, seventh grade, my goal was to play Division I basketball. That was my goal. And, I understood at that time that only 3% of Americans get a Division I scholarship. And Phil, to be honest with you, I wasn't, the fastest. I wasn't the most athletic. And I wasn't the most tall. But my work ethic was undeniable. So after high school, man, I went prep. And then when I went prep, man, at that time, all I was offered was a Division II scholarship. And, Phil, sometimes in life, man, you have to take opportunities, right? Sometimes you just got to say, you know what, this is in front of me and I got to go take it. And so I took that opportunity. And then after my freshman year, I had a conversation with my dad, and I told my dad, I said, I didn't want to settle. I said, if I spent the next 3 years of my life here, then that means I will be living the rest of my life with regrets. So after my freshman year, man, I ended up, walking on at Kent State University at the Division I level. Then I had opportunity to go back home and play, JUCO at South Suburban College. And that's where my first adversity really came, right? Because, imagine, 21, 22-year-old, I had to go back home with my parents, and basically it was make or break time for me, right? And in community college, everybody is trying to, get a Division I scholarship or get any scholarship.
Right.
And so, man, I really had to push myself. I really had to, my dad always told me, if you want to be the best, you got to work harder than everybody else. So I found myself, getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning, working out every single day, running to the gym, getting up 1,000 shots. And I was lucky enough that year to, lead the country in rebounds. I averaged almost 15 rebounds a game, 10 points a game, 3 steals a game. So I was the number one rebounder in the country. Ended up with about 2 to 3 Division I scholarship offers, and, it's crazy because all odds were stacked against me not to get it. And I was blessed to accept my offer at Northern Illinois University, where I played my last 2 years and eventually got my master's. And I had a teacher, to get in my master's that said, hey, Chris, when you're done playing the game, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I always told myself, I said, well, if I couldn't play in the NBA, I wanted to work in the NBA. And so that's what led me to, getting my first job, with the Sacramento Kings, and basically, getting my dream job. I had an opportunity to go right out of college and get to Sacramento. So in my first 2 months, man, in Sacramento, I was one of the fastest person to get to 100K in sales. My goal when I got there was to get out into the community, meet different people, shake people's hands. And, I've always been a type of person, where I wanted to be the best at everything I do. Right. So I think my first conversation with my director at the time, I'm like, hey, have you ever had $1 million seller? and also as a group sales account manager, who was the fastest person to hit their, annual sales goal. So, going into that, man, I was lucky enough the next 2 years to, hit my annual sales goals before the season started. My second year in Sacramento, I sold about 726K, man. And then my last year, leading up until this point, I sold 1.2 million, right? So everything that I wanted to do, individually, as a seller, I accomplished. And, the next challenge was, I know I can do it myself, but can I take a team with me and build a team out to hit the goal together? Right. I've been in sports all of my life, and USL Naples gave me that opportunity to do just that. And so that's how, I'm here today. I'm super excited. We got our team branding event come June 15th. And man, once we announce our name, oh my God, the city of Naples is about to go up. So let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting times for you, Chris, and you just taking that leap to be in a new environment. Like you're pretty much building a professional soccer team from scratch, and you're setting the foundation on the sales side. And the one thing, of course, I was always told in school, going there for sport management is that like it's all about trying to get the people involved. Like ticket sales is one of the highest revenue drivers for a professional sports team. And for you to lead the way in that department for USL Naples is definitely, showing the initiative that you took and the risk that you took to throw yourself into a new situation that's definitely going to be rewarding in the long run.
Yeah, man, it's not too many times, man, in your career where you get to, go to a professional team when it just started, right? And so I was blessed enough, we have one of the best ownership teams here, man. These are, I'm surrounded by great people, and all they want to do is bring the best sports organization to Naples, Florida. That's their whole mindset. And so when you combine, my work ethic and, my ability to go try to be the best and, produce the best results along with great minded people that just want the best, success is just already in the making. So like I said, man, I'm super pumped. I'm super excited, to be out here in Naples, Florida.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. And just from the habits that you start for yourself, again, just from your upbringing, talking about you trying to play D1 basketball, you of course you were able to get that accomplishment done, and it really just sounds like that you lived the life of trying to meet goals. And
Yeah.
of course, getting that first ticket sales job in sports, you became a goal oriented person from day one. And just going in for like what was something that helped you develop those strong habits for you to go like transfer that from being a college basketball player to becoming a director in ticket sales.
Yeah, man, I'm just a person that I just want to be the best. And I feel like everything that you do, I want to, produce great results, right? My mindset, coming into Sacramento it was just my dream job. I'm just about to go just sell tickets. I wanted to be the top seller. I wanted to be the person, where I was recognized at the end of the year to go on the premium trips and represented the company. I wanted to be the person that everybody in the city, can count on for their tickets. And I want to build relationships in the community, man. I'm a big proponent, that 95% of all business is relationship. The
Mm,
other 5% is business, right? People like doing business with people they like, right? And
right.
so if they like you, they'll do business with you. It don't matter the price. It matters what is the value, right? It matters
Absolutely.
who they're dealing with, right? Sometimes we, in sales, we get too caught up on the price or what we're actually selling instead of focusing on the value. And when you focus on the value, more people are going to buy that because they're buying the experience. Come on. I love it.
I mean,
I just love
well
saying
said, well said, Chris. And yeah, you touched on a big point there as well, because yeah, relationships are very important when it comes to working in the sports industry. And this is a message for the OFPs to listen to, like really tune into this, to where we talk about building those connections, trying to call people up and be like, hey, I got some tickets I'm trying to sell. And I'm sure you're getting that experience being down there in Naples, where like you mentioned, like it's a city that's never had a pro sports team to call their own, so you're already helping build a community and building a culture of fans that are going to be introduced to a new product that they can proudly call their own in professional soccer. And I just
Yeah,
think
man. You get
with
one
yeah,
opportunity to make, the first impression. So your
right, yeah,
first impression got to be the most exciting one. What I teach,
absolutely.
my team here, man, is not only the calls that you make, but going out in the community and meeting people, right? Put a face to the name, because sometimes, when you're new, we might call and they might not know us, right? And it might be a quick call, but going the next step is what I teach my team is finding a way, right? Find
Hmm.
a way, right? Going the next step is, what? Instead of calling that business today, that really told me they kind of wasn't interested. How about we go to the business? We give them our business cards. We give them, some USL Naples swag, and then all of a sudden, let's see how that relationship goes. Right? We have to educate. Our biggest thing right now is educating the market. Right?
Hmm.
People don't know that we're coming. Right? And so everybody that we meet, they're getting excited. They're literally, oh my God, I didn't know. I'm super excited. Every event that I've gone to, everybody that I've brought to the stadium, everybody that my team has brought to the stadium is like, this is flat out amazing, right? We're literally going to be the first professional soccer team in Naples. And just to even touch on that, man, before we was here, they had a whole bunch of youth academies out here. Soccer is
Hmm.
so big in Naples. I mean, I feel like everywhere I drive out here, I've only been out here a month, Phil, and everywhere I drive out here, I'm watching soccer on this side of the street or that side of the street. You know, our stadium, we got youth soccer that plays at 6 o'clock almost every single day. So soccer is so big, man. It's just now that excitement that we're having our own professional team that Naples can call our own. Oh man. Oh man. 2025 can't come here sooner enough. 10 more months. Let's go.
Yeah, it's gonna come fast before you know it, Chris. So yeah, no, I'm sure you and the team are ready for it. But you bring up a great point there with how soccer has already had a foundation in Naples, Florida, and I know with just how fast you see expansion teams pop up and say like the MLS, the USL Championship, USL League One, which is the league that USL Naples is going to be in when they start next season. Like just the sport of soccer itself is growing rapidly in the United States, and even you think about just the community aspect that soccer has as a sport. You look at how involved pro teams are youth clubs, or with like the academies, like you mentioned. It's such a community driven sport, and it's pretty much like it's a sport that was made by the community for the community. Like pretty much like you could go anywhere, kick a soccer ball around with your friends. You go to a park and have like trash cans as like your goals, and have like just
Speak on
cones
that
out.
field just to speak on that. I'm coming from basketball, right? I
Mm-hmm.
have been here over a month. I haven't seen one basketball court. It's all soccer. I'm still looking. I'm like, it's all soccer. Like Naples is just the perfect city, the perfect opportunity, and I believe at the perfect time to deliver a professional sports team, because it's like everything out here is soccer. And it's so big, man. I was speaking with one of the academies the other day, man, and just letting them know that we're coming. And he was just thinking about all the kids that, they can look up to their own professional team right in their neighborhood, right? It's the community impact that USL Naples is bringing to the community, right? Where you got, young kids that's, coming at our stadium every day with their academies. And now they can go wait till the weekend and tell their parents, I want to go to the game and watch this person and this person. And so that's just exciting of itself, right? Because we're creating an experience, man. It goes bigger than just the ticket itself. It goes about the experience when they come to where they want to tell their friends and their family. And now all of a sudden we got the whole family and cousins and business, at the stadium just off one person's interaction. So, man, it's exciting.
Yeah, and just like how unique the experience is, I'm sure for yourself, because I've kind of been around like this type of deal that you're doing in USL Naples, where growing up in Oakland, yeah, we had pro sports teams, but an owner that wanted to found his own team, Oakland Roots Sports Club, like new up and coming soccer team that plays in the USL Championship. They've been around for a few years now, and I have a good relationship with the owner over there. Shout outs to Idris Argandawal and Stephen Aldrich. Like they lead the way with Oakland Roots, and just from their foundation, they said from day one, hey, we want to build this team not just to have it be just another pro team. We want to build this team for the city of Oakland. We want this to be Oakland's team. And everything that they did with trying to connect with all the club teams around the city, the high school club teams, and even have this establishment where as the years progress, they started out with their first tier team, their the team that plays in the USL Championship. Then they expanded to having a pro development team, Project 510, which is their name, and then now they have a women's team, Oakland Soul, that's in connection with Oakland Roots. So they were able to build the foundation starting out, and just from what we've talked about just with USL Naples, like they're starting to build a foundation with a pro team to call their own, and hopefully down the line now we can talk about maybe getting a youth academy team, maybe getting a women's team. So yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Right.
And it's going to help benefit you when it comes to the ticket sales side.
Yeah, man. Just like you said, man, it's like you only get one opportunity to be new, right? And, the opportunities is definitely endless, because you have an opportunity to make an impression on a community that never had what you're bringing to the table, right? And so right now we have an opportunity to get out and get everybody excited. right? There's now all of a sudden you was going to the bars and the restaurants, and now you could come to the stadium and call your team your own, and now you got the atmosphere, right, live action, man. Our games is also going to be on ESPN and CBS, so I'm just super excited about the nationwide fans that we're going to have, right, on top of just the Naples fans, because man, I just feel like the impact that Naples is going to come with is going to just resonate throughout the country.
Are they calling you the mayor yet around town?
Not yet, but hopefully soon. Everybody I meet, I'm building great relationships, so I'm excited, man. Like I said, man, you can hear it in my voice, man. June 15th. June 15th is our team branding event, and I cannot wait. And that's when we announce our name and our team crest and the branding. So I am super excited because everything is it's moving. It's just moving. 10 more months.
Definitely. And I'm sure of you being kind of like in this, I guess you could call it like a startup role where you're learning like entrepreneurial skills on the job. Like what can you describe like a moment of adversity that you've dealt with, just starting out? Because again, this was like a big change for you. You're coming from a job where you were already with a franchise that was already established, and now you're going to a whole new environment. Like you're in a whole another part of the country, a whole new state, and just pretty much building from the ground up. So like talk a little bit about the adversity that you've been going with in that regard.
Yeah, you gotta remember, Phil, man, I'm originally from Chicago, so when I moved to Sacramento, it was like the same thing. I was going to a whole new state. I didn't know anybody, no friends, no family. And what I had to go do was make a name for myself, and knowing that I wanted to be a top seller. And I feel like it's the same, a same thing here, but in a different situation. Right now, I'm in a new market. I get to build my team out. Actually, I just signed or hired my last person for my team, and we are rolling, man. So I would say just not really adversity because it's fun, right? It's exciting. I think this is a project, and all we just doing is putting in the puzzle pieces. We just put in the puzzle pieces, man. Sports is fun. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It's fun. Like I said, it reminds me when I first moved to Sacramento. It's the same thing of now moving to Florida. The difference is now I get to inspire. I get to lead. Right, I get to develop my team and teach them everything that I know, so they can be the best. Man, I'm so glad, man, that I have a team and everybody wants to be a top seller. I am blessed enough to have that type of team surrounded by me each and every day. I am blessed. So that is the thing that I'm excited. So I wouldn't say it's too much adversity right now, man. It's just we have a puzzle and we're just putting in the pieces.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess to talk about a little bit more on your current role as director of ticket sales. Like now you're in a position to where you call the shots. So, just talk a little bit more about that. And you of course, you mentioned how you bringing in new account executives that are getting their foot in the sports industry and the ticket sales side. So how's that been like?
Man.
Now you're conducting your own team of people?
Man, it's flat out amazing because I get an opportunity to teach young people who just want to grow in the sports industry. I get an opportunity to be more hands-on, right? Because I did it, right? When I have somebody tell me, when I give them goals that they want to hit every goal that I give them, it reminds me of myself. When I have somebody say that they don't want to go down on the leaderboard and they want to be the top, it reminds me, of myself. And then sales-wise, when you think of being creative, I'm always, I teach finding a way. So I teach our team finding a way, right? So like I was stating a little bit earlier, man, we might make 100 calls and we might get 100 no's, but we don't stop there, right? So maybe if we go get 100 no's, let's go out into the community. Let's go, to different businesses. Let's pass out our business flyer. Let's give them some USL Naples swag. Let's build those relationships and get them excited because there's always a way, right? We have to understand, that a lot of people don't know us. And so we have to get creative in ways to get people to know us. And so, I've been blessed enough and, lucky enough that every event that we have went out to, we have had exciting people that wants to be a part of what we're building. And I'm super excited about that, man. So, be in this position and, having that opportunity to, develop young people that wants to grow, in the sports industry is flat out amazing. And I'm truly blessed to be in this situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Chris, even though like you did mention how you've only been in Naples for about a month, you said.
About a month, man. About a month. So a little bit over a month. A little bit.
All right. Well, I'm sure you've had some experience of the soccer culture has already been established down there. Of course, when you look at the landscape of soccer in Florida alone, you got the team up in Tampa Bay Rowdies of USL Championship.
They do an
You know,
absolutely great job. Actually, my first weekend in Tampa, in Naples, I went down with our team and we went down to Tampa and we went to a Tampa Bay Rowdies game. It was flat out amazing. So shout out to Tampa Bay Rowdies, man. You guys are doing great.
Yeah, I'm sure, and like and they've been playing pretty good in the USL Championship too. I think they won the USL title a couple of years back, to my knowledge.
I know they won the game when I was out there, and I tell you about the experience was flat out amazing. The atmosphere was crazy, right? That was actually my first time going to a professional soccer game, and the people was just into it. Then you got just a supporter section, and they're just going crazy, and they got the smoke bombs, and I'm sitting there like, oh, this is what we got to do in Naples. We got to bring that atmosphere. We got to bring that juice. And so, Tampa Bay is doing a great job, man. So I'm super glad and super pumped that I was able to go and attend one of their games when I got out here.
Yeah, and not only just them, but you also got an MLS presence down there too. You look at Inter Miami over Miami, of course, with what they got going there with Messi and Luis Suarez, like the team, the culture that they're building there. You go a little bit further up north in Orlando City SC. They've been around for a bit. They're actually a USL transplant that made their move to MLS. Kind of like in the mid 2010s, and then I think even I've also been hearing about Jacksonville. Again, the USL team a little bit on down the future. But I bring this up because it's a good opportunity to kind of have you gauge to where like again, like you're trying to make USL Naples or like really Naples, Florida, a destination spot for soccer fans to come from, not just all over the U.S. but all over the world even. So like, what is something that the team is planning to do going forward to try to build a culture of soccer down Naples?
Yeah, man. So I didn't know this until I got out here, Phil. We actually have the Great Wolf Lodge right next to us. So in Great Wolf, they have one of the largest indoor water parks in America. And so the amount of, like, I heard it, I think they was about 95% capacity. They open up in September. And so the amount of people that we're going to be able to draw from them, the amount of people that, that's coming out to just visit, and we play all of our games, like I think I stated this, but we play all of our games on ESPN and CBS. So the amount of national attention that we're going to be able to get, right? We're going to be traveling to Spokane. We're going to be playing, going down to California. So there's a lot, of opportunity, not just for the Naples, community, but from people all over, right? I can only imagine a family that's on vacation, that's going to the Great Wolf Lodge, and all of a sudden they find themselves and their kids like, I want to go to the soccer game. I want to go to the soccer game. And now their kids are going to the soccer game, and now they're spreading the word like, we got to get back. And what our job is once they get there, we're making an experience where they got to keep coming. They got to keep coming. Because you only get one opportunity to make a first impression. So you want to make sure it's your best one.
Yeah, definitely. And, just talking a little bit more about, just the foundation of it, again, like you talk about ticket sales side, but, just kind of going a little bit more outside of that. What else has the team been doing aside from, talking with the community, going out to like you said, like the Great Wolf Lodge, the resorts, and trying to get the tourists that are coming in? Like, where has the progress been made as far as just sponsorships, player announcements, player branding, even like the media aspect of the team as well? Because, aside from ticket sales, those are other important factors when it comes to building the team.
Yeah, Phil, and that's all great, man. So everything right now is we're in the works with a couple of different sponsorships and partnerships right now. We've been in talks with different people as far as and bringing people to the stadium and getting I have actually got an opportunity to go to different events where they was talking more about basketball, and I was able to tell them about soccer and getting them excited. And I would tell you this, Phil, the events that I have been to, man, is very powerful because a lot of people don't know we're coming. But I think to answer your question is after June 15th, once we announce our team branding and our team name, I feel like everything is going to push. And so we definitely have a bunch of sponsorships on the way. I can't disclose any of that, but they coming soon.
Yeah.
But June
Oh yeah, of
15th,
course.
it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah. Talk, of course. Talk about what you can talk about. Don't give too
Yeah,
much away.
we're good. We're good.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, and Chris, it's great that we have somebody like you on because for you, like you're in a very unique position compared to like what else is happening in sports right now. We're getting talks about other teams and other leagues like coming in as expansions. Like recently, like the WNBA just announced the expansion of the Golden State Valkyries, the new WNBA teams that start play in the Bay Area. To me, like person being from the Bay, I thought it was kind of overdue or past due for us to get a WNBA team.
Yeah.
It's what the success of the Warriors and everything. But again, that's kind of you're nor there. But I think with just the way that a sport like soccer is growing in the United States, with how rapidly it's growing, especially with you got the World Cup coming to US in a couple of years. You got U.S. based players that are going over to Europe to play in the big leagues like the Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, League One. Just to name a few. They're going over to Europe to play for the big clubs that have already kind of had their footprint for over a century of soccer. And yeah, now they're starting to turn their attention to the United States to where we have stars like Lionel Messi going to Inter Miami. We have a few years back they had Zlatan Ibrahimovic over at LA Galaxy. Just trying to get like understand like they're trying to have more respect for the soccer culture that we have here like in the US. And for you to be a part of that, be at the forefront of a newfound team, I mean, that's much credit to you for stepping in and doing what you're doing down there.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, man. Soccer is big, man. It's growing constantly. The people love it. The city loves it, and man, just last week, I believe I actually was out on the soccer field kicking, the soccer ball around, and now I feel like I got some skills, Phil. I feel like now, I might be the next Messi. So now I found myself every day with a soccer ball playing around. So just give me a couple more months, and maybe you'll see me. Maybe you'll see me out there.
Definitely. I mean, like myself, I'll kick the soccer ball around here too. I'll go to the field. Like maybe like be in a few pickup games, but that's just a beautiful. Like Pele. Like soccer legend. Like rest in peace. Like he said himself, it's the beautiful game. And
beautiful game.
But I think there's more that meets the eye when it comes to that quote that was made famous by him. When I hear soccer be described as the beautiful game, I just think about the world aspect that it's had on. I mean, soccer, hands down, one of the most popular sports in the world. It's played in every country. Like it don't matter where in the world you are, there's going to be some form of the game being played. And I think when he talks about the beautiful game, when we think about from say like the perspective of an OFP, like somebody that's that works in the sports industry, we think about the beautification of bringing communities together. Soccer is a very community-oriented sport. You think about the fan culture. I mean, there's no other sport where you talk about the fan culture, like you mentioned how you were in Tampa Bay, being at the Rowdies game, where you had people like with their signs, waving flags, air horns, you name it. Just having that big atmosphere with the chants and everything. Like there's that beautification of the fan culture. There's the beautification of the team aspect on the field. There's the beautification of communities being brought together through the atmosphere you can get at a soccer game. So I'm sure USL Naples is going to try to do everything to match that energy so the world can see it.
When I tell you the love that not just myself and our ownership team has, and it's flat out through the roof, man. Like every day I'm hearing stories about soccer in Colombia, because they're from Colombia, and how the atmosphere and the electricity that's in the stadium, with the supporter section and the smoke bombs and people waving their shirts in the air. It's just like, it's so big, man. It's really so big. And it's like having that idea of putting that in Naples is at the forefront of everybody's minds, right? We want to share that same experience, where they don't have to go, out the country and different places. They can come down to Naples and get that, electric, experience where it's just, when you leave here, you'll be like, wow, that was a wonderful event. It's more than a game. That was a wonderful event. The atmosphere was amazing. So that's kind of what we're trying to build, man. We're trying to build that when we bring families out, when we bring businesses out, when we bring the schools out, that they come to something that they're just licking at the chops to get back.
And I just want to kind of go more into like the community of Naples. You've been down there for a month. So when you first got there, because geographically Naples, it's about like hours south from Tampa, a couple hours west from Miami. So I can't really say if the people that have lived there for a long time have felt attachment to any pro team, that was around the state. But when you got there, and you started to, go to the restaurants, go to the bars to chat people up, what were their mindsets? What were they saying about this idea of like, oh, we're going to get a pro team? Like, why here? Like, why is it important to have a pro team in Naples, Florida?
Yeah, man. Soccer is big in Naples, man. Like I said a little bit earlier, man, I can't drive, 3 blocks without seeing somebody kicking the ball, it seems like, since I have been out here. But on top of that, man, the people out here is amazing. The people out here is great, man. I feel like everybody that I have interacted with and came across, man, they're just really good people, right? And, like I said, the biggest thing about what we're trying to build here is, like I said, 95% of all business is relationships. The other 5% is business. And our focus right now is just building those relationships, Phil. Our focus right now is, educating and telling people, that we're coming and getting people excited, because it's coming. And, June 15th. If you can tell, I just said that about 4 times in this interview. June 15th can't get here sooner enough, man, because I really feel once we announce our team name and our brand and everything, and get the city really behind us, it's just about to go, man. So it's exciting, man. The people out here, the community, it's flat out amazing.
And just in your role, I'm sure you're learning some entrepreneurial aspects to it, especially with this kind of being like a startup. Like I don't know if that's how you would describe, USL Naples at this moment in time, but just from you being brought on, what entrepreneurial aspects have you learned from the job and from bringing in the team of people to help sell tickets?
Yeah, man. Being an expansion team, man, is a grind, because you have to put in the work, right? And you really have to educate, the market. And I think, to answer your question about the entrepreneurship, is you have to be a go-getter, right? And I'm lucky enough to have hired, 3 account executives that I believe that are go-getters, right? One account executive that I hired, within her first 12 days, she got 12 deposits. So, in her mindset, when she told me, my first meeting, my first one-on-one with her, she said, Chris, I want to be a top seller. And so when you say that type of stuff to me, has kind of been in those shoes, I'm going to push you to be that top seller. I'm going to do everything in my power to give you all of my knowledge and everything that I've learned, and so that you can use it in your own way to be the best version of yourself. And so, man, I would say, man, being a go-getter is big in these type of, situations, because, man, if you put the work in and you set the foundation the right way, the sky is the limit.
Absolutely, man. And, again, I probably repeat myself when I say this, but, you're in a unique position to where, now like you're learning how to run a business, like from an entrepreneurial perspective. And even though in sports, we think about just the impact that sports can have on a community, on a city, on people, just having, or for people to have the feeling of something that they could call their own, especially when it's happening right in their backyard. That's something that, you can't take lightly. I mean, it's a huge accomplishment. And I just think with the direction that sports is going
just
to now.
Speak on that, man. The last week, man, I went to an event. And, I kind of let them know that, hey, we're bringing a professional soccer team to town. And right now we're focusing on selling season membership deposits. And she said, Chris, how do I sign up? I want to get my kids. I want to get, want to tell my family. And after I got her to sign up, she gave me a hug. And she said,
Oh.
Chris, I've been waiting on this moment. She said, I have lived in Naples my whole life, and I am super excited, that you guys are bringing the professional soccer team to town. And that's what it's all about, man. It's really all about, the smile that you're able to put on somebody's faces, because you never know what a lot of people go through. But when they get to the stadium and when they get into the field and when they smell the barbecue and when we score a goal and it takes their mind off everything just for a couple of hours. And so I'm super excited anytime I hear stories like that, because you just never know, man. And sports is a getaway from some people. I can spend time with my family. I can not worry about work. I can treat my clients who support me on each and every day.
It's an escape.
So it's an escape
for a lot of people,
man. So, man, I absolutely love it, man, and I absolutely love what we're building here, and we just have a great team.
Right, and I usually like to ask people, like about the aspect of mentorship, but I guess for you, being in a role where you're a leader now, I want to just kind of go into like, what mentorship aspect have you been given to the people on the account executive team, just from them starting out. If you could highlight a few names here and there, if you don't mind, like giving them the praise, like for what they've been doing here. But I just want to talk about, what mentorship aspects have you provided for your team that you brought on?
Yeah, man. Right now, man, the biggest thing is building confidence, right? Building confidence. So, for example, we had I was able to get my first team goal. I believe it was last week. And what I kind of wanted to do, because in sales, you got to get in front of people a lot. You got to shake people's hands. And like I said, you got to build those relationships. And so in order to build confidence, I like to build it in small steps. So like I said earlier, we have a lot of people that come to the stadium around 6 p.m. every day. So what I did was I took my team. I said, listen, what I want us to do is I want us to go get 30 leads. And like, Chris, how are we going to get 30 leads? How are we going to get people to, excited? I said, all I want you to do is go find 30 people that's interested, in learning more about what we have to offer. And so what that does is it builds confidence, because they have to go to somebody that they don't know. And my team, they didn't have prior, sports experience, right? So they're coming right into it, right? They've been eager to jump into this industry. And so now you're teaching them like, hey, you got to go to somebody you don't know and share with them the value of why they're meeting you in the first place. What made you go walk up to them? And so, I was lucky enough. Well, they came and said, you know what, Chris, we got 33. So,
hey, there we go.
And we set the goal, and they went better than the goal. And so I'm super excited, it's just far as that, man. And then another thing, like I touched about a little bit earlier, is just that finding a way. Right. You might get a bunch of no's, some of my, team, listening to their calls, coaching them every day. But sometimes you might get people that says, I'm not interested. And it can bring you down. Right. And then all of a sudden, what I kind of like to do is, all right, now you got 10 people that's not interested. How about you go send an email? How about, what? Let's go for a walk. Let's go to an event. Let's go to this different business. And now all of a sudden, you get somebody that's excited. Now that just retracts it, right? So you got to understand, like, you might go through moments where it seems as if it's not what you want, but you can't stop. You got to keep going. Keep going. Because once you keep going, you're going to get the results that you want. But if you stop, you will never get those results. And so that's the thing right now I'm really preaching to my team, is understanding, like, your work ethic in sales is basically your work ethic versus your work ethic, right? Any other job, you can come, you can give it all 110% one day, and you maybe give it 20% the next, but you're responsible for your results in sales, right? It's literally, you have an opportunity to do whatever you want to do and achieve whatever goal you want to. And it's up to you each and every day that when you come in, you're ready to work and you're ready to be better than how you were yesterday. And so just preaching those different principles and teaching them like, hey, it's possible. You told me you want to be a top seller. It's possible. You told me you want to hit the different goals that you want to hit. It's possible. What we're going to do is we're going to find ways to get to the possible. We're going to find ways to get to the possible. We're going to find ways that everything that you told me that you want to do, we do it. And that's the thing that I'm big in when we hit goals.
That's quite a pep talk you give to your team right there. I mean, it make me excited to go sell some tickets now, go talk to some people. So, yeah, but I think, Chris, like from me just knowing you, I've always seen you with like that energy, like that positive mentality you always bring to the workplace. And it's great that you're in a role now where now you have a chance to lead, and I think when you have like those natural leadership abilities, it's the easy transfer, especially when you're coming to something new. And like, you said that, the folks that you brought on, like they're new to sports. Like they don't, they probably don't know much about, how to sell tickets or, what, they're doing here. But the fact that, you're giving them this experience and you're also putting them in situations to where, they're able to build confidence with just going out, talking to folks in the community, that's something that extends far beyond what you're going to be doing in the future, because I'm sure after that first year, like in 2025, the first season, like I'm sure, and 100% I can already see it being a success, and hopefully like the USL Naples can, like the team that they're going to put out with the players that they're going to sign soon, they could put up some positive results, and you just do everything they can to have the first season to be a success, because like you said, first impressions do matter, especially not just in the front office, but it matters on the field too. So
exactly, man. Exactly. And what I teach my team is we have to win, and how to win and how to build a culture in the ticket office, right? Because sometimes, and like in sports, you're gonna we can't control how the team does, Phil. We can't really control the wins and the losses. But what we can control is ourselves and our input, and how we overcome adversity and how we overcome losses and how we come together and be creative of different ways to educate the market and bring value to somebody, right? There's always a product for somebody, right? If somebody is interested, we can find a way to get them in, right? And it's asking those right questions, right? It's not being vague, but it's opening up the floor where you're trying to understand how can you be an asset to them, right? Because sometimes as salespeople, we try to just go right to the sale, but sometimes we got to listen. Sometimes we just got to hear. And once you hear, then you're able to answer all the questions that, that they need for them to even give you the sale. So it's understanding the game, man. And I'm super excited about my team, man. And I know they're all going to do a great job, man, because, like I said, man, I'm surrounded by a group of people that just want to be the best, that just want to achieve success. And when you have that, that's the right recipe to win.
Right. And that's actually a good segue into, a question that I like to always ask for guests coming on. Like, Chris, like you're now in a position to where, you get to call the shots, you're assembling the team. But, for the OFPs that are still searching for that first sports industry job, what can you say is a challenge right now in the sports industry that, it's having people like lose confidence and being like, oh man, I'm getting told no, like for the place I'm applying to, or I'm not getting heard back about interviews. Like, what can you say to the challenges that are being faced right now?
Man, to the OFPs that's listening to this podcast, man, I would say, man, that adversity is eventually going to go away, right? You got to keep going, right? Don't stop. Because once you stop, you would never know what the outcome could have been if you kept going, right? You might get 100 no's, but every no you get is leading to that one yes. And it only takes one person to believe in you. It only takes one person to give you that opportunity. And once you get that opportunity, you just got to go make the most of it. But if you stop, though, you will never get that opportunity. Go find a way, OFPs. Go find a way. And feel free to reach out to me if you guys need any advice. Just, typing me in on LinkedIn, Chris Johnson, Director of Ticket Sales at USL Naples. Would love to connect with you. But I would just say that keep going. Keep going. Because one thing I know about the rain, it stops.
There we go. But yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna make sure to leave Chris's information in the description down low, like like for folks to find out, and just from like that advice you just gave about the competitive nature of sports and the current challenges that someone's facing. Like, what advice would you give to someone that wants to work in the sports industry but not be discouraged by the competitive application pool for sports industry jobs? Because you think about the jobs that are out there. There's like over 500 applicants, 1,000 applicants, even some of them reaching up to 10,000 applicants. Like, what would you say to someone that's may become fearful of what the numbers may look like, but are trying to debug?
Apply. I've been blessed to do a bunch of guest speaking at a lot of different universities and colleges. And the one thing I always say is apply, right? When I was coming out, I just finished playing basketball in Illinois University. And I didn't really have that much sales experience outside of me just playing basketball. And all I did was apply. and because I just applied, I'm here where I am today. So don't let all of the distraction, because that's what I call distractions, right? Amount of people that's applying it, because you never know what that recruiter or what that director is looking for. You never know. And you might have just that piece that they need to complete the puzzle, but you were scared to apply. So go apply. Go do it. Go
Like
believe in
that.
yourself. Go
Like
believe in
that.
yourself. You can make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, and that's something that I talk a lot about, with the OFPs, just being like, hey, you're gonna get a lot of no's, but I say this to, it's almost kind of like, well, actually, no, no, but it's like, when you get told no a lot, or say if you're a guy and you're getting rejected, by a girl that you like, or like girls are trying to, like want to be like that, it makes you, it helps you become stronger. But
Yeah.
and I think it helps you become more humble. So
Yeah.
where like, hey, again, like maybe that person might not like me, but at least I can continue to improve myself to make myself more, like sell myself much better than what I was initially for how I was selling myself. Because one thing that I talk about is how you have to promote yourself as a brand before you go represent somebody else's brand.
Yeah.
You gotta find ways to present yourself. Whether that's through your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your like a YouTube channel, a website that you started up. Like, if you could find a way to present yourself in the best way, then it's going to become a lot easier when somebody says yes to you eventually, so you can represent them. You have to pretty much be your own ambassador before you become somebody else's ambassador.
Right. Exactly. Definitely agree. You got to be able to advocate for yourself, and you got to be able to be an example for yourself before you're able to teach somebody, everything that you're trying to do. Right. I was a big component of that field. Right. I always said before I got into leadership, man, like, how can I teach somebody to go sell 1 million, or, become, a top seller and hit their sales goals the fastest if I didn't do it myself. Right. And so I was a big component. I said, before I go into leadership, I wanted to do everything that I was going to eventually teach. And so, because that's a different level of trust, it's a different
Mm.
level of, hey, I seen you do it. I know that everything that you're showing me is going to help me. And so that was my big component. I'm more hands-on with my team, right? Because I just feel like the more I'm, involved, the more I can help them grow. And so that's the thing I'm excited about too, is being able to share, my different experience, what worked, what didn't work, what I do different than a lot of other people. So they can, put my experience into their own, narratives to make their own paths and their own career. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. And Chris, like, it's been a pleasure having you on, and we're gonna close it out here. But USL Naples is gonna be coming in to the forefront in a year or two. Like you said, like, you're a month away from announcing your the team name, the crest logo, the colors, and just with everything that's happening so far and everything that you have looking forward to going into next season 2025, when you guys start to begin playing the USL League One series or season. What is something that you're excited about the most, and also what is the piece of advice that you could give to the OFPs, that are still trying to get on their way in their career path and work in the sports?
Phil, I'm super excited about opening day. Opening game,
Like,
March 2025. I am super excited. I
like
can't wait.
how do you picture the
I
opening day, like the first game?
Man,
How
I
do you picture
see
that?
us selling out the stadium, fans screaming, kids running around, got the smoker, got the barbecue going. You know, we got the supporters going nuts in our supporter section. We got people from all over the community, trying to figure out ways to get tickets last minute. I can see maybe one of the high schools, one of the dance team dancing at halftime. It's just, oh my God. I feel the imagination that I'm thinking right now just got me pumped. I just flat out can't wait.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, it's going to be exciting for sure, and I'm sure, as time progresses, when you guys do eventually, get the name out, get the crest logo out, you're going to start expanding in other departments, and I'm sure you're going to have a stronghold, or like at least like an assistance in how other departments within the organization and what the team are going to help build, bring more people on. So, I'm sure like the timeline is going to be it's gonna be crazy because
It'll
again
be
it's his
crazy, man.
first time, but I'm sure
Stay tuned.
you're gonna handle it in
Stay,
the best way possible.
stay tuned. Stay tuned.
All right. Well, Chris, man, it's been a pleasure having you on here. Like, and so much has been highlighted, especially with you being in such a unique position. USL Naples, watch out, folks, they're coming. 2025 is it can't get here any faster, but it's gonna be here sometime soon. And like I'm gonna be like when it comes to that first game, I'm gonna be kicking back and watching some USL Naples soccer, like just to see how the first game. And I'm gonna remember, hey, Chris Johnson, my man, led the way
We're gonna have to
and
get you
packing
out there,
out that
man. We're gonna
stadium.
get you out there, man. Come on.
If you give me a ticket to open day, man, I might
Come
just make a quick
on,
trip down
man.
to
Come out to
Naples.
Naples. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll definitely check it out, man. I'll definitely be down there one of these days. So yeah, have a ticket ready for me.
I got you. I
Oh,
got you.
yeah, like I want like VIP. You got a suite for me, like that's cool too. Like I want the whole thing, man, the whole thing. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this episode of the Off Field Players Podcast. Chris Johnson coming on here, Director of Ticket Sales for USL Naples, the startup team in the USL League One. Coming soon, 2025. Be on the lookout. And for those that are that are down in Florida, that are a part of the OFP family, definitely make sure to take a trip out to Naples for a game when they start playing next season. And yeah, just want to thank everybody again for tuning in to this episode of the Off Field Players Podcast. Again, if you watch the video version here on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with anybody that you know that's trying to work in the sports industry or trying to find some influence or motivation to progress in their career path. And if you listen to the audio version, either on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, not Google Podcasts anymore, Radio Public, or Amazon Music, definitely make sure to check out the podcast going forward, as well as also on Podchaser as well. And also, can't forget this. We do have a social media presence for the Off Field Players podcast. Like you can follow the podcast at OFP_podcast on Instagram, as well as at OFP_podcast on TikTok. So yeah, definitely make sure to stay tuned for content coming on those platforms in the near future. And yeah, just want to thank everybody again for tuning into this episode, and just be on the lookout for the next one. Again, still a lot going to be happening, but I'm going to make sure to keep everybody updated on where the podcast goes as far as me putting out episodes. But I want to thank everybody again for tuning in. Stay safe, stay motivated, stay blessed, stay humble, stay focused. And as always, make sure to achieve what you believe.